In the Old Testament, there's a wonderful book called Jeremiah. It was written by a prophet by that name during a time of international war. Superpowers clashed, and small nations like Judah were caught in the middle. Let's see how the history, geography, and moral issues that Old Testament characters like Jeremiah, Daniel, and Ezekiel faced can be applied to understand our modern world in this edition of a series titled Jeremiah, God's Man in a World at War. This video accompanies the course guide Clash of the Superpowers and focuses on three key issues: the deportation of exiles from different nations to Babylon, the role of Egypt's Canal of the East in the clash of ancient superpowers, and third, understanding God's purpose for your life. In 605 BC, Babylon defeated Egypt at Carchemish. Not long after that battle, Nabopolassar, king of Babylon, died. His son Nebuchadnezzar became king. He challenged Egypt's control of the small nations in Palestine. In the midst of world conflagration, Jeremiah delivered a prophecy that Jerusalem would be carried into Babylonian captivity for 70 years. In God's providential timing, events began to unfold that would bring that prophecy to fruition. After becoming king, Nebuchadnezzar invaded Palestine, conquering smaller countries like Moab, Ammon, Ashkelon, and Judah. Nebuchadnezzar took the ruling class of all these countries into captivity in Babylon. Daniel was also taken into captivity. Perhaps he took with him the law of Moses. While we don't know for sure, we do know that the exiled Jewish community did work to preserve their ancient texts while in Babylon. Think of Babylon filled with ethnic enclaves of these deported people groups, much like the way ethnic neighborhoods developed in New York City in the 1800s as Europeans came to America. Daniel and the other Jews would have lived among them. Several of these nations, such as Ashkelon, a former Philistine nation, sacrificed infants in the fire to their gods like Dagon and Moloch. They did this on something called a topeth, an idol shaped like a minotaur. They also practiced temple prostitution. Taken to Babylon, they would have formed rival ethnic enclaves. Daniel and the others from Judah would have been confronted with this clash of cultures. It was at this time that Pharaoh Necho conceived the notion of canalizing the Wadi tumult by cutting a waterway, the Canal of the East. The source of this is the book Egypt, Canaan, and Israel in Ancient Times. Egypt conspired with Tyre and the other small nations that Babylon had conquered. By completing the canal, Egypt would be able to attack Babylon with its navy. The Brotherhood of the Scroll not only faced a clash of empires, they faced a clash of worldviews as strangers in a strange land. In the Brotherhood of the Scroll, there's a scene where Daniel goes into exile to Babylon. The Brotherhood of the Scroll uses the construction of a canal as a project Babylon had to stop at all costs in this clash between the superpowers of Babylon and Egypt. The novel also examines the personal struggle of Daniel as he went into captivity. Course discussion questions explore God's purpose for Daniel's life, and yours and mine. The Brotherhood of the Scroll and Clash of the Superpowers. To learn more, visit me at www.wisejargon.com.